Yo B, what up? In this episode of China Adventures, we're gonna talk about the project. Like I stated in the previous ISEC video, I went to China with ISEC on an education project. There, ISEC provided to all the volunteers with some type of accommodation. So it's basically you had to choose between living in a shared apartment with a couple of other volunteers or just live in a host family and basically they will take care of you and all of that. I chose to live with the other volunteers because for me I really liked my freedom and basically to do whatever I want, and living in a host family's apartment, it was very interesting. I actually lived in a host family for a week. It was a very interesting experience, but it was very limited because I could not go wherever I want at any hour that I wanted. So if I wanted to do some shopping at 1 a.m., I could not do that. Take some noodles from 7-Eleven, yep, you cannot do that. Of course, the biggest advantage of living in a host family is that you get free food. Like, nobody's gonna ask you for payment of the meals, but I think it's a generally good practice to chip in for the costs of food. For example, the week that I stayed at the family that hosted me, they did not want any money and I felt kind of guilty, so I prepared an European dish for them, and they actually were super happy for this. And I'm glad it actually worked out in the end because I ate Chinese local food, what they eat every day. I also ate, so I tasted the local cuisine, and they also tasted a meal that was prepared by myself, so they did not do dinner and I made dinner for them. The vibes there were very good. It was quite celebratory, if you ask me. It was very nice. I really enjoyed it. The other part is that they will actually take you to visit some places. The host family will kind of protect you and be like kind of a bubble. You'll experience the local culture there, experience the local life, which if you really like that, then that's a plus for you. Alright, so what I actually did 2 months in China, that's a good question. And the answer is I was an English teacher for kids in various age groups. The project was awesomely structured so that the volunteers could teach to all the age groups. I had activities in an elementary school, in a middle school, high school, and then we had a couple of activities also in university. So let's just take them one by one and briefly let me explain what happened. For elementary school, it was actually one of the few things that impressed me. The elementary school that we had some activities was super nice because it was an hybrid school. So what do I mean by that? There were kids that were quote unquote normal, right? They were healthy, not a problem. And there were also kids that had like Down syndrome and other types of handicaps that were not like super independent and they needed their parents. And the class was actually half and half, right? Half kids with special needs and half normal, okay, whatever kids, right? And it was actually the first time I saw this type of system and I was truly impressed. I could not take a lot of pictures I could not take any pictures actually because the kids were quite sensitive to sudden movements and whatever. Even the teachers were like, yo, do not take any pictures because they could trigger the children being restless and being like rowdy, be like transforming into little demons. Moving on to middle school kids, that happened in the Malvern school. It was such a bougie school. I cannot believe that that's a school and not a university campus, to be honest. I think it was and still is a private school. It was bougie as hell, not gonna lie, but the middle school kids there were actually super sweet. They did not know English, of course. We had a teacher and we had some ISECers who also were translators. So yeah, we taught some English, but of course we did not teach English per se, right? We did not focus on the grammar. We did not focus on like a literal English class. We did it informally. We actually focused on the speaking aspect. We encouraged the kids to speak in English, try to speak, to vocalize some English pronunciation, learn some new vocabulary, new words. It was actually pretty nice. With them, we did some games also. It was awesome. The kids were super open and responsive. They were like hugging us, and yeah, there were some boys who were rowdy, but that was the teacher's business to rein them in. We also had like some activities. We went to the beach. We caught some little crabs, and yeah, I also managed to cut myself there. I don't know how, me being the most unluckiest person ever. That cut did not stop me to enjoy myself. Going to high school, well, that is just on another level because the pupils were actually students, so they knew English and communication was very easy with them. Yeah, you can go back and forth. You would still be understood by the students, like what you were talking about, and that is a very important thing when you're teaching English. And again, we focused on speaking. We had public speaking sessions in the front of the amphitheater. We had some subjects. Our team was focused on LGBT rights around the world. We talked about what our opinions are about this subject and what is their opinion about this. It was a very good back and forth, and yeah, it was actually very fun. We had physical activities as well. I had fun mostly because I could actually speak with a person. We did not require a translator, and that for me is the best because I could actually understand what they were talking about and they would understand me. And last but not least, in university we actually had a debate session about plastic surgery. If I remember correctly, it lasted for hours. The subject was very up to date to the Chinese society, right? The people in Asia are more, let's just say, accustomed to the process of having a plastic surgery because they're near South Korea, and even in China, the practice of having a plastic surgery is not that big of a deal anymore. It was in the past, but now it's becoming more and more mainstream. The arguments that were brought for and against plastic surgery by the students were pretty legit. Closing this video, I want to show you a reimagined play on Cinderella. Please enjoy.
Attention world, I, the king, I am throwing a party for my beautiful, beautiful son, the prince, for him to speak a beautiful wife. So go, my trusty knights, spread the word about the party.
Whoa! The party! The prince
So, my friends, have you made the decision?
Yes, I did.
Then pick